What's up YouTube, Jeff back again to another very exciting Samsung video for you guys, and today we have it in the house today, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Pixel 9 Pro XL, and since this is a Samsung channel, Samsung website, we figured the first thing we should do is give some initial impressions on how this compares to the S24 Ultra. I'm going to do a full comparison over on the website, potentially a video as well, with photo samples and all that, but since I got the phone today, and I don't want to make a boring unboxing video because everybody else does those, I figured I would talk about in using this for today. I've used it mostly since I got it, and then I charged it up and been using it again. Some impressions about the size, the build, the brightness of the display, some of the initial things I can comment on. So you guys probably saw here, this is the hazel color of the Pixel 9 Pro XL. I will say it looks more gray than green, right? This is supposed to be like a green foam, kind of like hazel has been in the past. I don't know how well it shows up on video, but it looks a lot more, in fact, I don't know why I'm not turning it over. It actually looks a lot more like Samsung's titanium than you would think. It certainly looks different if you put it in the light a little bit. You can tell that it's green, but it's not too far off from a dark gray color. And so that's kind of interesting in my opinion, that they said this is still the same hazel color, but it definitely looks a little different with the metal piece that they have there inside of the Pixel 9 Pro XL. So if you look at the actual kind of size of these two phones, you can kind of see, sitting here on the table, the S24 Ultra is certainly a lot taller. And in addition, you can tell because of the squared off kind of sides, it's gonna be, and if I push it up a little bit more, maybe it's not as tall as I dramatically made it there. Let's put them side by side here in the hand as well, so you guys can just kind of see them side by side in terms of their thickness. You can kind of see the two phones. The S24 Ultra is certainly taller, and because of those squared off kind of corners at the bottom, whether you love them or hate them, it is feeling a little sharper in the hand than the Pixel 9 Pro XL. I think that Google was really trying to go for that iPhone Pro body type. I don't really like that because one, it doesn't set you apart in terms of brand image, and two, having the squared off sides does give you a little bit of something to grip on. I think Samsung's going to get a happy medium between those based on what we've seen in terms of leaks for the Galaxy S25 Ultra. So I'd certainly really like to see that when that phone comes out in January 2025. The camera modules are vastly different. The one thing I will say that I do like in terms of the design is with the Galaxy S24 Ultra, I'll just show you here. If I have the Galaxy S24 Ultra on the table and you're like typing on it, it's gonna rattle like this if you don't have a case on it. On the other hand, with the Pixel, you can do this, and because of the back camera bar being there, it doesn't rattle no matter where you type on it. So, you know, the aesthetics of it, I mean, I guess is really up to you. Like, do you like this kind of unique bar that Google has versus the more kind of refined aesthetic, simplistic, that the Galaxy S24 Ultra has? Both of them are classic designs. I don't have a problem with them design-wise, but functionally, the Pixel's camera bar does a better job and has less wobble. So that is something that I would like to commend Google for. However, there are some things that I've noticed in my first day with the Pixel 9 Pro XL that I don't like, and you guys can see all the fingerprints on my S24 Ultra. I absolutely hate them. I always have a microfiber nearby. One thing that I do not like is the fingerprint sensor on the Pixel 9 Pro XL has one big limitation the Galaxy phone doesn't have. So on the Galaxy phone, it doesn't matter if you have always on display on, off, if you have your phone completely turned off with no always on display on, you can always tap right here on the fingerprint sensor and get right in. Now on the Pixel, if we go into the display settings on the Pixel 9 Pro XL and then go ahead and go into lock screen, you can show down here and do show time and info, and it says always. You can tap this off, and then let's go ahead and take a look, and I'll show you. If you then try to use your fingerprint sensor, you have to wait for it to come on. So you've got to tap the phone and then turn it on. You can't just hold your finger down here. It's not going to work. Whereas over here on the Galaxy S24 Ultra, let me go in and find always on display, turn that off. If I turn the Galaxy S24 Ultra off and I go ahead and put my fingerprint right there, it opens it up no problem. So this is a little annoying. I mean, you can double tap obviously to turn it on if you have tap to turn on and then get right in. Definitely a huge improvement though this year with the new fingerprint sensor they have in there. It's basically the same ultrasonic scanner that's in the S24 Ultra. It's a heck of a lot faster than it was the optical scanners on the old Pixels. So I really do commend Google for that. But they could make it so that at least an option so that you could easily get in there when the screen is off and there's no always on display. I think a lot of people would like that. Maybe not everyone wants it, but it'd be a nice option to have. Some other things I've noticed: display brightness. The Pixel 9 Pro XL is supposed to be a little bit brighter, so let's actually turn off adaptive brightness and just turn the manual brightness all the way up. If you actually look at these two phones, I put the same wallpaper on them so you can actually kind of see. They don't really look noticeably different to me. Maybe the Pixel 9 Pro XL is a little brighter as it's supposed to be. I think maybe 10% brighter, but it's not a huge difference. The viewing angles on the S24 Ultra and the anti-reflective screen certainly make up for that difference. I'd rather have the anti-reflective screen any day of the week. There's a huge difference in reflections here under my studio lights if you tilt something off axis on the Pixel 9 Pro XL versus the S24 Ultra, which really absorbs reflections. You can see if I tilt this, left to right on the Pixel 9 Pro XL versus if I tilt this left to right, the Galaxy S24 Ultra, the reflection reduction on the Galaxy S24 Ultra is just fantastic. So I'd rather have that, but the brightness does appear to be a little more on the Pixel. A couple of other things. Overall, charging is incredibly slow on the Pixel. I know it's not so much slower than the 45 watts on Samsung, but when I got this and charged, I used it and then charged it up from I used it for 30% and I charged it up from I don't know, it's 58 to 100. It took over an hour and something to charge up 42%. I feel like that's kind of insane, ridiculous, but it is what it is. I'd love to see Google and Samsung both take it up a notch, not to 100 watts, but 65 watts would be nice. Still faster than the iPhone, but we shouldn't be comparing ourselves to the iPhone. That's just my personal opinion. Smoothness, now, you know me, I like One UI. I think One UI is very smooth. Some people will probably say it's smoother, but also you don't have as much customization on here. I always miss my multitasking, and even here on the first day, using pop-up windows, using multi-window, and having all those options I have with the Samsung phone is a big deal to me. I also, of course, miss one of the most important things that I use all the time on my S24 Ultra and also on my Fold. I miss my S Pen when I'm using the Pixel as well, and that's just something you have to get used to if you're a Samsung fan and you decide to switch over to Google. You're not going to have the S Pen, you're not going to have the multitasking at the end of the day. Now, I did take a bunch of camera samples here. I actually took some stock photos for the website of a bunch of Samsung devices using the Pixel because I wanted to start testing the camera. These were all in pretty good lighting, and the Pixel camera is amazing. I am going to do a camera comparison between the two so you guys can get an exact idea of kind of how they compare, but the Pixel camera is very impressive. I have a feeling, I'm going to say for sure until I do a full comparison myself, they also had an out-of-the-box camera update that was available. Let me actually turn the brightness down because they're probably scorching people's retinas here. They had an out-of-the-box camera update that's available on the Pixel 9 Pro XL, and so a lot of the early reviews that you probably read didn't have that camera software. So I will be doing a full comparison, but I do feel like until Samsung makes some improvements on the S24 Ultra camera with that upcoming update, the Pixel's a little bit ahead. Can't really say too much about battery life yet because, of course, I've only had this phone one day. It's very smooth. The AI features work pretty cool. I'm going to do a comparison of Pixel Studio versus Sketch to Image and some of the cool stuff in One UI 6.1.1 on the Z Fold 6. Curious what else you guys want to know. So those are my first day impressions. There's some things I like. Obviously, the display is very bright. The build quality is beautiful. The lack of the wobble from the camera module here, that's a really nice thing. Miss my multitasking, miss my S Pen, miss One UI. Let me know what you guys want to know in the full comparison and what other things I can tell you. Reach out over on X, reach out on the website, reach out on Facebook on our Facebook page for the website. Check all that out. Go to sammyguru.com for the latest tips, tricks, tutorials. Appreciate you guys checking out this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching.